Good evening and welcome back to Sports Talk ATL. I am Chase Earl, joined by Jake Gordon and Alex Lord. The Braves played a 4-game series with the Mets over the weekend, and there was a lot of good, a little bit of bad. We're going to primarily focus on the pitching, the bats. They stayed hot. Matt Olson, this guy's the hottest person I've ever seen. He could hit 60 homers, and I know we talked about him not like competing for the MVP, but if he hits 60 plus homers, I don't know how he's not in the conversation. It just is going to be that way. I know, Alex, you're shaking your head, but if he hits 60 plus homers, it's only been done twice in the last.
What Ronald Acuna could do has never been done.
That's fine. That's fine. But I'm telling you, you're going to be in the conversation. You hit 60 homers. I don't care what you say. It's going to be a conversation.
Participation medals, sure.
I mean, you can say whatever you want, but you're wrong. Anyways, if he hits 60 plus homers, and listen, I'm backing Matt Olson here. If he hits 60 plus homers, he's going to be in the conversation for MVP. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what WAR says. I don't care what any of that says. But let's talk about the pitchers. Chirinos yesterday was terrible. If he's not DFA'd, I said it last time. I said he might get one more start because we had this doubleheader. We needed 6 starters. He gets another start. We've seen enough. 6 earned runs. He's the only starter that gave up a run. Charlie Morton clearly got mechanical issues. That guy, I do not know. 7 walks, career high, doesn't give up a run. Have no idea how it happened. Thank God the Braves were playing a AAA lineup, or that could have been trouble. He's got some stuff to work on. Thankfully, 6 weeks. The good news, Strider was fantastic, even though he didn't have his best stuff. And Alan Winans, man, I think he's earned a spot in this rotation pretty permanently, at least for, at least another time through. Because the 7 innings, 9 strikeouts, I don't care who you're playing. It was impressive. And he's been really good in AAA all season.
Yeah, you made the point about possibly using a 6-man rotation to take a little stress off some guys. Even though it's not September yet, I'm all about that. I say you bring up Soroka and Winans and keep them both up. Bryce Elder, Spencer Strider at times, Charlie Morton have looked, a little bit suspect at best. And I think it would be best to give those guys just a few sort of days off mixed in there, give them an extra day rest a couple times around the horn.
Yeah, coming into the weekend, pitching woes were at the forefront of everybody's minds. It seems like pitchers aren't allowed to slump, if you ask Braves fans, but that's all this was a slump. And this weekend reminded us that the Braves do have pitching depth. You mentioned Soroka. Soroka also threw 7 innings of no-run ball. It was a complete game shutout. The game started late, so it was only 7 innings. I think he had 6, 7, or 8 strikeouts, only 1 walk. The 1 walk is the most important thing because he was giving up free passes, no control, hitting batters when he was in Atlanta. He deserves another shot in Atlanta, and I'm sure we'll see him before October. There's no doubt about that. And you mentioned Winans, Soroka, even A.J. Smith-Shawver, all can get brought up. Give these other guys, Morton, Elder, Strider, all, rest that they absolutely need. Morton may be more than anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Charlie backer. I just think there's no doubt that there's some. I mean, listen, a guy that's been in the league for what? I mean, he's going on 20 years in the league, and I've never seen him have this much struggle with his control. And it dates back to, I think I really started noticing it that Boston start a few weeks ago, where it was a wet, rainy day, and I kind of blamed it on the wet and rain because it was delayed, it was rainy, the field conditions were bad. I was just chalked it up to that, but there's clearly a bigger issue as far as mechanics. Now, the good news is you got 6 weeks. We don't really, I could go out there and see him, pitch bad for the next 4 weeks if he can figure it out by weeks 5 and 6 going to the postseason. I do not really care. His stuff's still good. It's really just the walks and the controls. And not only, I said it on Twitter. It was I said 5 innings, 7 walks, 36 near wild pitches, and 0 runs, because that's the kind of control. It's not just the walks. It's the uncompetitive pitches that I talk about all the time. If you're not even giving the batter a chance, especially when a lot of Charlie's stuff is forcing them to swing and miss at balls out of the strike zone with that curveball. If you're not even giving them a chance to swing at those pitches, it's going to be really hard for you to have success, even if you're not walking guys. If you're falling behind and not getting ahead of guys and stuff like that, you're not going to have a lot of success. I mean, he got lucky because the Mets literally half of their lineup belongs in AAA, if not more. I mean, Vogelbach, I swear, is on the Braves payroll. He was striking out with men in scoring position all weekend. I don't know how he still has a roster spot. I mean, they had Abraham Almonte starting, Rafael Ortega, some guy playing at shortstop. Legends. Yeah, some guy playing at shortstop that's played 5 games, was hitting 140, and Morton was walking him and then somehow getting out of the jam every time. It was extremely lucky outing. He does that against a competent lineup. He's getting lit up and not making it through 3 or 4 innings. So it's discouraging, but you got 6 weeks to fix it, man. Like that's what I say. I mean, it may not happen this time, but it like you just got to hope that it happens between now and the end of the season.
Yeah, and I mean he's gone through a lot of ebbs and flows, just in general through his Braves career. There's been a lot of really high highs. There's been a lot of low lows. There's not been a ton in the middle. He's either looked pretty bad or he's going to go get 7 shutout innings with like 11 strikeouts or something. So yeah, hopefully this, like you said, hopefully this just turns around before the playoffs. Because I could really care less what he does for the rest of the regular season. Obviously, it's discouraging, and I would like to see him pitch well. But as long as he's on whenever it matters, then I'll be just fine.
Yeah, speaking of like 6 weeks, Kyle Wright took the next step in his rehab. That's another piece that could be coming back and joining the rotation. Obviously, optimistically, I think it's 2-3 weeks out, and then he's got another 2-3 weeks to figure it out before the postseason. So that's another piece to this puzzle that the Braves could have to figure out before they go into October. I'm not too worried about the rotation. And it is the track record of the guys that we have and the talent. I mean, this Charlie Morton stuff still is there. It's just, locating these pitches. Spencer Strider stuff, though it didn't look great last time out, it's still there. Max Fried, nobody should be worried about Max Fried, though I haven't seen anybody say anything. This offense can carry this pitching staff, and the bullpen looks unbelievable. Yes, we all want the rotation to be at, its peak as we get into October, but this lineup is absolutely unbelievable. Historic. I said it yesterday that if they were playing with those 2019 juice balls when the Twins set the home run record, this Braves offense would be so far and away on pace to break the all-time home run record. I mean, it is just unbelievable. Everybody is hot. Everybody is contributing. Eddie Rosario's even, he's been terrible as of recently, and he's even picking it up. I mean, if there's one team that can overcome pitching woes, it's this lineup. I mean, nobody should be worried about that.
Yeah, I mean, this lineup's been historic, whatever you want to call it. It's the best lineup I've ever seen. I mean, top to bottom. Michael Harris has 1,000 OPS over the last 2 months. Austin Riley, we're going to look up, and he's going to have a top 10 finish in the NL MVP race and a 900 OPS again. Matt Olson, obviously, we talked about 60 homers. Ronald Acuna, the front runner for the MVP. Ozzy Albies is on pace for like 40 homers. Marcell Ozuna is going to hit 30 plus. Everyone else, Murphy's now at 20. Like it's arguably top to bottom. I don't know if there's ever been a lineup as deadly as this one. And I agree. Like, yes, they kind of got shut down last year in the postseason. I think it's going to be hard to do twice. I don't think they're going to go away. And yeah, I do think this lineup, I don't care who's on the mound. I don't care if it's Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola, whoever Julio Urias, it doesn't matter who's on it. You're not going to shut this team down for 5 games. So yeah. And like I said, like we talked about, like 4 out of the 5 games in the NLDS, hypothetical NLDS, you're going to have Max Fried and Spencer Strider on the bump with that lineup behind you. Like if you can't be confident in that and you can't win with that, like you deserve to lose. Like that's the best foot that we have forward. If those guys are healthy and you can pitch them 4 out of 5 games in the NLDS and get to the NLCS, because once you get to 7-game series, I've said it all the time, like this lineup, it's going to be tough to beat the Braves in a 7-game series because you got to beat them 4 times out of 7, 3 out of 5, a little sketchy, 4 out of 7. This team, I mean, there's not been many stretches this whole tier where they've lost, 4 out of 7. It doesn't matter who they're playing.
It does matter who they're playing. It's always the teams that are awful. It's always the under 500 teams.
The Tigers and the Pirates. I think if you look at Spencer Strider's ERA, it's like Tigers, Pirates, White Sox. His ERA is like 15, and then everyone else it's like 2.8. It's like it doesn't even make any sense. So yeah, coming up after the breaks, Braves a little bit of struggling. Falcons looked really good in their first preseason contest. We're going to talk about it.